Hi, I'm Jessica Behal with Great Rivers Regional System for Addiction Care, and we are continuing our This Is My Story series. And we are really excited that we were able to get this series back up and going for 2021. And so we are coming at you with another story. And this afternoon, we have Brittany. And so I'm actually going to just turn it over to you, Brittany. And I want to thank you in advance for joining us and being willing to tell your story. I actually reached out to Brittany and she had been posting some stuff on social media and was being very vocal about her recovery. And I was like, I want her to tell her story. And so I messaged her and she messaged back and was like, yes. So I'm excited and anxious to hear your story. And so without further ado, Brittany, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Hey guys, I'm Brittany. So yes, I am a recovering addict. My childhood was I'm gonna start with like my childhood. My childhood was okay. Did I have something traumatic happen? Yes, I did. Whenever I was 6 years old, I found my mom, like she was almost dead from paint thinners. So that was very traumatic for me. Like I called 911 for her. She got the help she needed. She ended up going to a 30-day program at Amity. Well, then, we had both my parents lived in a home. My dad was a paramedic growing up, but my mom and dad fought all the time. So it wasn't a happy home. Like we spent a lot of our time down there at our grandparents' house in Sissonsville, but I was raised and grew up in Jackson County. So we did, on the weekends, we'd go to my grandpa's. The weekdays through school, we'd stay up here. We were home. My mom was a great mom. She was a stay-at-home mom. She was very involved with us. My dad just worked all the time. That's all he done. He did spend time with us, yes, but he worked all the time and provided for us. Growing up, I was really my dad's side of the family was really close. Like my mom's mom, and my uncles, there was issues there. Like my dad wouldn't let us around my uncles because they were, and I didn't know this, but they were doing drugs at the time. So my dad was trying to protect us and shelter us from that. And and I had no idea. I just thought, dad was just being dad and, we weren't just allowed around him. That's just how dad was. So, and then we just spent a lot of time down there at Sissonville, at my great grandparents' house, and my grandpa's house, and my aunt's house, and my cousin's house. We did spend a lot of our time down there. My mom was sick all the time growing up. She had heart problems and stuff. And so she was in and out of the hospital a lot. So that really did a number on me too. But me and my mom didn't get along. I hated her. I hated her so bad. And I couldn't figure out why. Nobody could figure out why. So they had me in and out of counseling, ever since I was 8. I was a very smart student, very smart, but I got bullied a lot. People would make fun of me, talk about my nose, and I was fat, and my ears, and so a lot of self-esteem issues have had happen too. So growing up through school, I was very smart and I made good grades, but then I started to get in trouble. Whenever I hit middle school to high school, those are my times that I got in trouble. I have 2 brothers that are younger than me. I've always had to be the bigger sibling. If stuff needed to be done around the house, my brothers were too little. They couldn't lift things because they weren't big enough, things like that. So I had kind of resentments towards them because you're boys, you should be out here doing stuff too, not just me. Okay. So, I was a problem kid. I'm not afraid to admit it. I was a very problem child. My problem was within the home. I didn't want to listen to my parents. I felt like I didn't have to, because, whenever I went down to my grandparents' house, I got what I wanted. I was allowed to do whatever. It was more fun down there instead of being home. And, just my parents they get along better now that they're divorced and they've been divorced than they did when they were married. So, which that is fine with me. And, through high school and stuff, I ended up smoking a joint one time, and I was on Prozac and I smoked a joint. It was laced with cocaine and I didn't know it. Well, me and an ex-boyfriend had broke up, and I don't know, I guess the chemicals between the stuff in coke, the pot, and the Prozac all mixed together. counteracted with each other and like set me for a loop. Like they just was not me. I wasn't there. And I ended up getting in severe trouble when I was in high school. I ended up getting battered on a police officer at the age of 15. I had violation of restraining orders, one count of that. And then I ended up going to a juvenile detention center whenever I was 15 years old. I got out, was on home confinement. My dad had to get rid of all of his guns. They had to go to my grandpa's. My grandparents tried to get custody of me. The judge wouldn't let them. They were going to send me off. All I like to do is fight. But then my mom, I did alternative school, and my mom let me drop out of school because I tried to go back to school, and then I ended up getting in trouble again. So she let me drop out. By this time, my parents were divorced, and my dad had done remarried, which was, we didn't go, like, I didn't want to go see my dad because you're out of the house. My mom lets me do whatever I want because she's not going to fight with me. So I'm not going to your house because I don't like you and I don't like your rules. Like, I'm not going to your house. I never snuck out of the house because I didn't have to. All I had to do was just ask, hey, mom, can I go here? And, or I'd ask her when she'd be half asleep and she would let me because she, wouldn't know what I was asking her. So it was like, I live in a small town, so I couldn't go far. Well, like, so that happened. Like, I tried to do like some like extracurricular activities. I was in dance. I was in 4-H. I loved showing animals at the fair. I was in pom-poms whenever I was a kid. I was in basketball. I did volunteer programs through Jackson General Hospital down here. Like, I did a lot of things, and people wouldn't thought that, my life was getting ready to take a turn for the worst, and nobody knew it. So whenever I was 16, I liked to party. Like, I was getting drunk with my aunt all the time, and my parents didn't know that. Well, then I ended up meeting my ex-husband, and he's the father of my kids. Well, we got together. I was about 17, and I ended up getting pregnant. And then, we moved back to because I lived with him, and then I moved back to my mom's with him. And of course, he wasn't working. He was barely 19. I think I was 17. So we had our first child, but we got married 10 days before that. So then after I had our first child, like, the domestic violence started happening. So then it was like, well, he would apologize. And I'm like, okay, well, he said he was sorry. That's okay. That's fine. And then we'd be okay, and then it'd be fine, and then it would start again. But he was like very, very like, he wouldn't work. Like, if he worked, it wasn't for a long period of time. So then ended up moving from the trailer that we had. We moved back to my mom's for a short minute. He got another job which paid better. So then we moved to an apartment complex, and which was a lot nicer. So then I ended up getting pregnant with our oldest son. Well, then, like, before that, I would do a couple pain pills here and there. That was fine. That was no big deal. I didn't have to have it. So I quit smoking pot by this point. I wasn't drinking a whole lot, but I drank a little bit. And then after I had my oldest son, during my pregnancy, it was okay. Like, we didn't fight as much, but like, we did fight, but it wasn't physical. And then my ex-mother-in-law got really sick. She had stage 4 lung cancer. So that took a toll on him. Well, then, I said, okay, well, I had to, Brianna at home, which is our oldest. And I was like, okay, well, let me have him. And then I'll come home and I'll help take care of her, because she's going to need somebody to take care of her. And that's fine. We'll go down there every day, and we'll help take care of her. Well, we got home. We got released from the hospitals the same day. I was at Women's and Children's. She was at Kingdom Clark. She come home. She went home a day. We took my oldest son to meet her. And then she got sick the next day, and she passed away in the ambulance going to hospice. So then that took a turn for the worse. Well, then a family member of his come out to our house, was like, hey, here, do this pill. It'll make you feel better. It'll take your mind off of it. Okay, well, he said, Brittany, do you want to try it? And I said, yeah, I'll try it. Well, that was it. That was all it took. I tried it that one time. I liked it. So then it was like, excuse me, I had to try it again and again and again. Like I had to do it again and again and again. And it was Roxy's. So then it wasn't just your little Laura tab here, like it was Roxy's. So then we were smoking it. Well, then the domestic violence started getting worse. Like he held me hostage with the gun, like, and I kept making excuses for him. Like, he's going to change. He's going to change. It's going to be okay. Like, he says he's sorry. It's because of his mom. Like, and he just, like, our marriage went downhill. But then we ended up having 2 more kids in this marriage. So, which made it 10 times worse because none of us were stable enough to have a child. Like, he ended up getting in trouble with the law big time. He ran from them. Like, it was a whole mess. So, I had 2 kids into that mixture. He was on home confinement. Like, I sent my kids to my mom's house. He ended up doing better, and I brought the kids back, but we were still bouncing from place to place, like living out of hotels and stuff, because we were both strung out. Well, then I had another son, and then the domestic violence started getting worse. Like, it just progressively got worse over the years. And it's much as my fault as it is his. I can't sit here and lay the blame all on him because it's just much as my fault as it is his. I could have had the opportunity to leave, but I didn't. I cannot sit here and say, I know some people do, and that's their decisions. They'll place blame all on their spouse. And sometimes, granted, it might be, but no, that was my fault just as well. Like, I was doing the drugs too. But did I tell him did I hold a gun to his head to tell him to go steal stuff? No. But what was, like, I allowed it to happen. I didn't leave. So therefore it's just as well as my fault as it is his. So then I had our youngest daughter. Well, then we got into a big argument. I ended up locking myself in the camper behind our house, and my mom called the law that time. Well, I lied to the police and said that he did not hit me because I didn't want him to go to jail. But he left and went to his cousin's house for a week. So then my mom came and I told my mom to come get my kids. Little did I know that state was getting ready to step in and take my kids anyways because of the situation. Luckily, I had called her and told her to come get them before that happened. So then I told her to go file for emergency temporary custody against me. And she was already in the process of doing it anyway. So it's like I was just telling her, but she was already doing it. So, but at least I can say that I did say to her, hey, do this, because I didn't want his family stepping in and taking them, because if they would have gotten them, I would have never, regardless of any situation, been able to see them. So my youngest daughter was and actually today's her birthday. She was 3 or 4 months old when my mom got her, so I didn't raise her at all. My mom has raised her, like, and I will even, like, I say to them, that's your mom, like, because my mom has adopted my children. So whenever that happened, he went to jail over some other things. Well, he ended up going to prison. I ended up leaving him, but in the meantime, I got off the opiates for 3 months. But I also then decided to go out one evening and got hooked on meth. Like, I went from snorting it to smoking it to shooting it up all in one night. And then that was all it took. That was it. It was off to the races then. But I thought I could have control of it. I quit cold turkey, when pills, I'm fine. Like, I can do this. If I want to put it down, I can put it down. It's not a problem. But I wasn't trying, like, I guess I wasn't trying because I felt like abandoned, if you would say. Like, I mean, even though, like, the relationship, like, we wasn't going to be together or nothing, like, I ignored his phone calls, his letters. I mean, like, I got letters after letters after letters because I guess I was hurt. Like, I felt abandoned. Like, you left me out here with nothing. Like, I don't have, because his dad kicked me out of our house. Said I don't have nothing. So I felt like alone and abandoned. So then, like, I just felt like it wasn't good, and I left him. So because it's just water, it's just oil and gas. Like, we just didn't mix together. And of course my mom had the kids when, CPS was involved now. And I wasn't doing exactly what they wanted me to do. So like we was, going through the court process. Like I think I failed like one drug test for morphine one time. And that was, I didn't, somebody gave me something for a headache and literally was morphine. So it was like, but I'd quit all the other pills. And I'm like, well, I've never failed none for opiates before. I failed one for methamphetamines, but never opiates. And they're like, okay, well, I tried to quit. And they're like, Brittany, just go to rehab. Nope. Nope. Not going to rehab. Like, I don't have a problem. I can quit. Like, I didn't think that I had a problem. No matter how bad my life had got, because like I was homeless, living with people, people that I barely knew, like I was staying with them. And so like, and then I would only do it once a month. Like whenever I'd get dope, I'd only do it once a month, but I would stay up for 3, 4, or 5 days at a time. Well, then it got to the point where I couldn't just do it one time a month. Like I had to do it twice a month. And then it just kept progressing. Well, then I started selling it. So I could, like, I wasn't wasting my money on my drug. Like, like I started selling it so that a way I could afford it, because I was like getting high a lot more. Like I was playing a game of like Russian roulette, like I don't like the human trafficking things and stuff like that. Like there was some incidents down here and like I have a really good friend and she was like, Brittany, you need to stay like alert of things like this because that's what happens in a drug game. It happens without the drug game though too, like stuff like that happens. And like the stuff that I've done and the stuff that I've seen is like crazy, it's like living in a living nightmare. And I just thought I couldn't pull myself out of it. Well, then I ended up running for a little bit, doing, partying all the time and just doing whatever I wanted to do. Well, then I got into a fight and I ended up getting arrested. Like I had a warrant. I ended up getting arrested over it. So then I went to I couldn't come back to Jackson County. So I went to my cousin's house in Sissonville and tried to stay there. Well, then I wasn't done getting high. Like I thought I was, and I thought, okay, like I'm getting ready to see, I'm allowed to see the kids again. I'm doing okay. I wasn't done getting high. My grandma just passed away but I just wasn't done getting high. Like I can't use like my grandma passing away as an excuse because it's not. Because I myself was not done because I wanted to get high. I would message somebody and be like, hey, I'm coming back to Jackson County. Can you help me out? And they'd be like, well, yeah, we can't wait to see you. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You're coming home with us. We're going to have a good old time. It's like, before. So I knew but I didn't realize that that's exactly what it was. I just wasn't done. Like, I just couldn't be done with it. Like, there's no way. That's too fun. How could I be done with it? And then it just progressed from there. And so then I started back into the game again. I've been hit by men in the face. Like, I've had guns pulled on me. Like, lost everything that I've owned. Like, had to sleep outside, waiting on somebody to, answer the door the next morning, to let me in if they would. I've stayed at gas stations in the middle of the night because, I was out gambling and the place closed. And then I didn't feel like it was safe enough for me to walk all the way home in the dark. Sometimes somebody would like meet me halfway so I didn't have to walk that full distance in the dark. And because it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't care. I didn't care at all what happened. Like, I thought I was doing my best. I thought I was living my best life because I didn't have my kids. I didn't have anything to worry about. Like, I'm not hurting nobody else but me. Like, whenever I put that drug into my body, that's hurting me, not you. That it's just affecting me. Like, I would, whenever I was getting high, whenever I would do my shot, like I would sit there and pray to God, like, please let this be my last time. Like tears rolling down my face, like just begging and pleading, please let this be my last time. But it wasn't. So then I'd go on to the next time and then the next time. And it was like I was literally living, I felt like in a living hell that I just couldn't get out of. Like I was gonna die that way. And that's exactly what I felt like. You know, there's been times I was given like a hot shot that was meant to, you know, do damage, and it just swelled me up really big, and then it made my heart race, but it didn't do nothing. And then or sometimes where I've mixed my drugs like heroin and meth, which made me really sick in return. Like I was out for 12 hours, couldn't just hold my head up just to puke. Luckily, the girl that I was with, she kept a really close eye on me. She, you know, she took care of me that time. And I mean, that's all it was just being trying to be one step ahead of the law, one step ahead of myself, obviously, you know, but I didn't care what situation I put myself in. None at all. I didn't care. And things were bad. Like my family didn't want nothing to do with me. Running from trap house to trap house, basically. Running the streets of Ripley, selling drugs. And that's just what I thought I could do. And that was what was going to be my life and what I was destined to do until I got arrested by the U.S. Marshals. And I got arrested in front of two kids who I thought the world of. Those were my, you know, like my niece and nephew. And which that broke my heart within myself. Well, then whenever I got arrested, I went to jail. I decided that, you know, there was a time. And then that's whenever I made the call to Recovery Point. I got my bed there. You know, we had to go to court. My attorney had to call and things like that. Whenever I got to Recovery Point, I didn't know what I was walking into. Like I'd heard horror stories, but I didn't know like what I was walking into. So whenever I got there, it was a big awakening. Like I was scared to death. Like, what do you mean I'm gonna have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning and do these things? Like that's crazy. Like I'm not, no, but I did it. Like I did it. I did. I took a very good hard look at myself, and that's what I've had to do. But beyond taking a good hard look at myself, I've had to internally find God. Like I've went from being a problem child to some people, you know, would have never expected that, you know, I was addicted to drugs or whatever, you know, but like I tell people, like this can happen to any one of us. Like, you know, we know better than to do it, but we do it. Like, is it sin? Yes, it's sin, but it's also like it's a disease. And that's exactly what it is. So whenever I got there, you know, I did what I was supposed to do. I got in trouble a few times. Who doesn't? I mean, you know, did I want to come home? Did I feel like at first I could have probably faked it till I made it? Yeah, I thought I was going to do that. But then I realized like that that's not what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to get help. Like I wanted to do what I was supposed to do and get the help that I needed. And, you know, like, seeing like whenever I was there, like, you know, I thought everybody just looked down on addicts until, you know, Southridge come there and they're just like, no, you know, like they help too. Like they learned to, you know, like they helped us love ourselves, you know, and show us that people, you know, what we think are normal people will still love us. Because I thought that everybody just looked down on somebody who's an addict. And, you know, like you know, that's what you are. You're an addict. That's what you will be and always will be. Like, I thought everybody did that. And then whenever you're a room full of building that's addicts and alcoholics, and even the staff is, and it's like, you know, that outside, you know, people, that outside group. And then like you'd mentioned my video, like this last one on Facebook, that's what it was about. Like, that's what it's about, you know, like, because people in recovery people in recovery feel like nobody cares, or people who are still actively using. Like, I mean, if anybody watches this and they're actively using, like there is still hope for you. So, but yeah, like taking a good hard look at myself and knowing that that's what I wanted, and I strived for that. Like I know that I'm gonna have mistakes and things like that, but that's fine, you know. But what recovery has given me back has been my life back. Like I'm sitting in my own place that's mine, like that is just mine. Like I haven't had something that has been just mine. Like I am employable today. I'm trusted at a friend of mine, like I grew up with her kids, but I'm trusted in this woman's business. You know, it's a local store down here. It's a, you know, a primitive store. And I'm trusted in her business. She has me, you know, help her, work for her, whatever. And I'm trusted with her store key. Like I'm trusted with a lot of things that I never thought or I never dreamed that I could be trusted with. But I mean, I've had to do some soul searching. Whenever I've done my soul searching, I found God. Like that's my higher power, and that is who I had to find, because no human power can save us from this, none at all. And I realized that didn't matter, but you know, like I felt I didn't want to be alone. Like it took that court order to get me to go to rehab because I wasn't about to do it myself. You know, like I didn't care if my family had to bury me, but now I do. Like that's what recovery has given me. Like I care that, you know, if my family is going to have to bury me or not, because they don't need to. You know, like my mom has adopted my children. My rights were not terminated. I relinquished my rights. So therefore, I'm allowed around my children. Per what my mother says, though, her guidelines. She wanted me to go to long-term rehab. I did. You know, long-term rehab's not bad. It's not bad at all. Like, people are scared to go, but it's really not, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Um, I'm allowed to have my kids overnight if my mom says I am. I want to help people, you know, helping people helps me, and that's what it's all about. Um, you know, like I know life's not all going to be rainbows and things, but I do know today that I don't have to pick up another drug. I don't have to pick that needle up to feel better. I don't have to pick up a drink to be okay. I don't have to do none of that. I have I have things now. Mind you, I don't have my license yet. I'm still working on that. I don't have a car yet, but you know, I'm working on like being more employed, you know, national health emergency grant. Like they're trying to help me out a little bit here. And like I'm maybe going to college soon after I get my GD, because I don't have that, y'all, but it's okay. Like that's fine. But everybody is addicted to something. Everybody's addicted to something. It doesn't matter what it is. Somebody is addicted to something. And people in recovery, like, you know, you have to realize, you know, we're just the same as everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's okay if you fall. Like, we're here to pick you up. You know, like I've had to help, you know, I've buried people from, you know, OD. Like, I mean, I've lost I've lost a few people like from this disease, and that's what it is because it's a disease. And I don't want to lose myself to that anymore, because that's the devil. Like, I don't want to lose myself to that anymore. And I can't lose myself to that. I don't want to go back to that place that I was before. And I just can't wait to see what my future holds. Like, recovery, like, has given me like my life back that I had prayed for whenever I was sitting there doing a shot of meth. The life that I'd prayed for at that time, I'm getting now, which is unreal. And you know, it's crazy. But like I went from shooting up in gas stations, and because I had to have it, like I couldn't go any longer without it, to having my own place again. Like I went from that to this, like which is just amazing. It is. That's all I've got.
Well, I want to say thank you so much. I absolutely love what you said, and that helping people helps you.
Yeah.
I found that I actually was doing another This Is My Story the other day, and that was very similar to what they said. And I see that as a recurring theme when I've done these stories, is that so many people want to give back. They
Yeah.
want people to have hope. They want individuals to know that recovery is possible and that it happens. And I just love how you said that helping people helps you. And I think if we all took that mindset,
Yeah.
whether we're in recovery or we are going out to the, you know, wherever we're going,
Yeah.
if we took that mindset with us that helping people helps us, I think that our world would change. I
Exactly.
really do. But I want to thank you so much, Brittany, for just giving us this chance to get to hear your story. I've said this from the beginning when we've done these This Is My Stories. I didn't want this to be like a question and answer type thing because
Yeah.
I wanted this to be something that was genuine, something that was just a platform for people to truly be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
Not a story that I'm trying to get you to tell by asking certain questions, but a story that you are wanting to tell and willing to tell. And I want to thank you so much for being so open and honest with us today. And if you are in the Jackson County area or really any area and you are wanting to get in contact with Brittany and you have questions for her, I'm sure she would be willing to answer those.
Mhm.
Um, reach out to us and we can put you in contact with her. And we just want to thank you again, Brittany, for coming on here today and telling your story. And if you or someone you know is looking to tell their story, we would love for you to reach out to us. You can reach us on Facebook. You can reach us at Great Rivers Regional System for Addiction Care, which is probably where you're watching this video, or you can email me at bayha, B as in boy, EHA 3 at marshall.edu. So be on the lookout for more of our This Is My Stories. And Brittany, thank you again for sharing your story. I truly
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you. I loved it.